Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
The Chicago mayor Brandon Johnson got mad at reporters for calling black teens rioting and looting mob activity.
Oh, you're not aware of some of these large gatherings?
You're talking about the mob actions?
No, that's not appropriate. We're not talking about mob actions. I didn't say that. Okay, it's important that we speak of these dynamics in an appropriate way. This is not to obfuscate what is actually taking place. We have to be very careful when we use language to describe certain behavior. There's history in this city. I mean, to refer to children as like baby Al Capones is not appropriate.
The Chicago mayor Brandon Johnson got mad at reporters for calling black teenagers rioting and looting stores mob activity. The mayor claimed that the reporters should use the term large gatherings instead. The statements from the Chicago mayor has garnered controversy online. Commenters claimed that Chicago is failing due to him and that Mayor Brandon Johnson needs to be forcibly removed from office. But what do you think about the situation? Do you think mob actions is the correct term? Comment your opinion down below. The Chicago mayor...
Okay, interesting.
Right. Hey, what's going on, family? This time for No Picks Podcast.
What's up, fam? Joe, No Picks Podcast.
I mean, listen, you saw the clip. You saw what my man had to say when he had an issue with the reporter referring to the black teens as mobs or conducting mob activity. What's your thoughts on it? I'm wondering. I'm thinking we might differ on this actually.
Maybe, right? You know what would be helpful for me though? Is there a way that we can get a actual textbook definition of a mob, so that we can so I can at least have it in my mind and say like, all right, so I want to make sure I know what the reporter's trying to refer to. Like, so what is the actual definition of mob?
Mob. Well, I mean, I know it's like organized crime, but let me try to look it up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I got it in my mind and be like, all right, was that response from the mayor appropriate? Was it like a good response, or was it like, can we just call a spade a spade? Like,
all right, mob activity. Mob activity is a broad range of illegal activities carried out by organized crime groups such as the mafia. Organized activities: murder, extortion, corruption, gambling, loan sharking, tax fraud. I mean, well, it's okay. So in that, organized. Yeah. So the idea is that it's organized. So I guess where
organized crime.
Yeah. So I guess where Brandon Johnson's taking issue is the fact that it's not organized. It's it's just, I guess, unorganized chaos.
But it is organized to an extent, right? All right. So now with that definition in mind, now I can respond. So we recently talked about a clip about teenagers plotting and looting 7-Elevens all across Los Angeles. Remember that in Southern California?
Yeah.
And that's organized. There's a way that they're talking. There's a way that they're sharing the message of where to be at. They're coordinating so they can show up at the 7-Elevens, and they're looting these 7-Elevens all across Southern California. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that's not organized. It doesn't have to be super organized, but if you guys are all plotting to be there at a certain place at a certain time at a certain location, and you guys are all looting, and that for me sounds like organized crime.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So to take it back to Chicago, it's like, listen, bro, like, it may not be like mob, like Sopranos or Al Capone status.
Yeah.
But I mean, organized crime is organized crime. If you guys are planning to do this crime, if everybody's like, if you know what I mean, I don't know what social media they're using, but there are ways that they can talk and communicate. Be like, yo, be here at this time. Right. It's the same way like the street racers in Philly, the way they communicate and be like, yo, we're gonna be here at this date at this time, and we're gonna have the illegal street racing. It's coordinated. You organize it to some extent because it doesn't just happen spontaneously. Like, you know what I mean? So. Yeah. I mean, that's my initial reaction, right? So I got more to say, but like, with that in mind, how did you feel about his response to the reporter?
I like what you said because like it's kind of making me think a little differently than I thought before, right? So it's like it seems like Brandon Johnson is trying to like downplay the activities of these what happens to be black kids, right? By kind of being like, because the reporter used the term mob, so in his head he's like, oh well, they're not all sitting around eating gabagool and debating on who could take what part of what business, you know what I mean, like they're not like, and there's no like boss, and there's no like, so he's kind of like trying to skirt around that, like, oh no, it's not like the mob because like ain't no John Gotti, ain't no Tony Soprano, ain't no, you know what I mean, so he's trying to, so he's, even though they're conducting mischief and doing all types of crazy stuff, it's like, well, they just large gatherings. So saying large gatherings is like, I guess, is like a better term for him to be like, oh, they're not like, they're just kind of basically they're wrong place, wrong time. But they're to your point, they're organizing themselves in these like social media groups and stuff like that, and they're causing these issues to happen. So it's not like
Right.
this, it's like some random event. No, like they are planning to be at certain places and do certain things.
Right.
So so like I said, to your point, it's like, no, bro, like, well, no, not to your point, but I think he's wrong. I think like he needs to address the problem of crime head on. To me, I get the impression from this guy is that like, hey, you know what? If we don't talk about it, it just goes away. Right. But no, bro, like there were criminals before you got elected in Chicago. There'll be criminals after you, after you're done in the office. I think you need to handle this stuff. We talked about this before. Chicago, one of the most dangerous cities in the whole damn world. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what do you gain by being soft on crime in Chicago? Do you think people are going to? Do you think the people in Chicago that are committing these crimes are going to be like, yo, you know what? He gets us. We just gonna give up this life. It ain't even worth it no more. No, nigga, you gotta grab all those people and send them to jail. Like that's your only hope of saving Chicago, right? Like, send
Chicago's
Ra's al Ghul
bad.
down there and just like clean house, like that's it. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it's so large gathering. I'm like, listen, bro, if you go to like the breast cancer walk and there's a whole bunch of people gathering there to do a marathon, that's a large gathering. If you have
right,
the Roots picnic down in Penn's Landing and you got a bunch of people to go to the Roots picnic, that's a large gathering. If you
right,
got, a church group going out to, I don't know, like I just feel like when you call that activity, the looting and the rioting, when you just call that a large gathering,
right,
there's so much that falls into that category underneath that label. That is too broad of a
right,
descriptor for that form of activity. Like, I'm sorry, like you can't have a euphemism for rioting and for looting. Like, you can't just find
yeah,
a better way, a sweeter or softer way to say
yeah,
that. Like, it is what it is. Like, we have murder, then we had unaliving. We had homeless, now
right.
we have unhoused. You know what I mean?
Unhoused,
We
yeah,
had we
yeah,
had
yeah,
we had sex workers slash escorts. Now we got
yeah.
luxury companions.
Companions, give
Yeah,
it,
we have luxury companions. Like, come on, bro. Like, are you kidding
right,
me?
right,
So I just think it's one of those examples of like him trying to be not, I don't know if it's political correctness, but just trying to find a euphemism or a better way to describe the term. But like when you can say that a large gathering of people going to like a large church gathering, compare that it's in the same category as a group of kids or teens looting and rioting, that's problematic for me, bro. Like there has to be a distinction. And I feel like mob activity would be more accurate because it's
right,
organized crime,
right.
bro. Like
But Joe, to your point, let me ask you. So say say your homeboy, Tom. You got a best friend named Tom, right? And Tom hits you up. He's like, "Yo, Joe, like these group of kids came. This mob of kids came and they beat me up. They lumped me up. I'm missing 2 teeth. I'm in the hospital." Would you have a different reaction if your friend Tom called and said, "Hey, there's a large gathering came, and they lumped me up. I'm missing 2 teeth. I'm in the hospital." Like, what's the difference in the person that's been affected?
yeah,
Like you,
right.
like,
Right. Right. No, no. I see what you're saying, and I
are
agree.
you
Like,
less mad? Are you like you in the hospital like on a beep beep beep? You're like, all right, well, at least it wasn't.
at least it wasn't a mob. You know what I mean? It could have been a mob, but it was just a large gathering. Thank God it wasn't a large mob. Bro, I'm still in the hospital. I still need a blood transfusion. Like, I mean, like, damn, bro. No, you're right, bro. It still doesn't change the victim. Like, whatever
right,
happened to them or the businesses. Like, I still got to get
right,
insurance. I got to replenish my
right.
stock now, my store.
Say the large gathering beat your mom up. Are you in the hospital like, oh, thank
Right,
God. Oh.
right. No, bro. No, no. Um, this is, I want to acknowledge if Gio was here, right? I'm channeling a little bit of Gio right now because he's not here tonight,
Right,
right? But I want to, if Gio was here, I know that he would want to say something, and I know that historically there has been some bias in the media, right, when they report crimes. Like I know that they have labeled young black men as thugs, Thugs is a word that they use often to describe young black men who are like involved in crimes or things like that. Like they use certain words when it comes to minorities that they just don't use if it was, say, a person who was white. Right. And they also assassinate people's characters rather than being like, an innocent boy from the suburbs who didn't, he was a troubled child and he had, and it's like sometimes there is this racial narrative where like they're softer on like white perpetrators of crimes and then black or brown people. Right. I want to acknowledge that. I don't know if you agree with
Okay,
that, but
I
I
can agree.
know
I could agree
so
with
I
that.
want to say I'm gonna acknowledge that that is a thing. I'm not gonna act like it doesn't exist, right? This was just not an example of that. This
Yeah,
was an example of you calling it what it was and him trying to like. And I guess the black mayor didn't want to be like I guess he felt like he was participating in that racist, media racial narrative that they do
right.
sometimes. But it's like, bro, this wasn't an example of that. This was
Yeah,
organized
yeah,
crime. We can call it what it is. Like, so it
yeah.
just looked bad. And then offering large gathering as the alternative term was just bad. So
Right.
just bad in my opinion. So
So to piggyback on what you said, there are certain things I feel like as black people we could stand up and be like, nah, like, you know what I mean, like defend whatever the situation was, right? Um, take police brutality, right? I would I ain't gonna say that. I would say that some of the people that we've decided to stand behind and say, yo, this shouldn't happen, or champion to say, hey, this basically is our generation's Martin Luther King. I don't think we should have supported some of those situations because those people were not good people. There are different situations. There like, take for example, say a person without a criminal record does X, Y, and Z, and turns out to be like they were handled in a overly aggressive way. They end up losing their life. That's a situation I feel like you should stand on and be like, nah, this person was a good, upstanding citizen. Y'all
right,
did this to him. We should
right,
ride and organize and, you know what I mean, do damage. Not, I mean, I don't mean physically damage, but like, change the system in some way because of this innocent person, this upstanding
right.
citizen. I don't think I think it's a bad look when bad things happen to people who are already criminals that do things to get put in these criminal situations, and then
Right.
we say, oh well, even though this person's a criminal, we should still support this person regardless of the situation.
Right. Like if your
Like
man's like killed three people and you got a free Dirk shirt on now because your boy Dirk just killed three people. It's like, bro, he's supposed to be in jail. I don't know why y'all talking
yeah,
about free Meek, free this. Well, not Meek, sorry, but like free Jamal, free Ray Ray when Ray Ray then killed three people and robbed two others.
right,
Like he needs to be in jail. Why are we talking about
yeah,
free this dude? You know what I mean? So like, yeah, I understand. Some people is like we ride so hard for people who should just be in jail.
just be in
And
jail,
yeah,
right?
right. It's like, bro,
Like
I can't support that.
I'm damn sure I ain't saying no names specifically because I will get
Yeah.
roofed on this joint. But you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, yo, like there's some people I'm
yeah,
like, that he did rob the store. You know that, right? Like I don't like
yeah.
what are you guys standing up for him for? He
Right.
burglarized the store, and now y'all like, yo, he burglarized the store, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so what? Just let him burglarize the store. So what? Who gives a damn? They got insurance. Like, no, like they want to
yeah.
defend their stuff. Of course they gonna call the cops. Like
Right. Yeah, no, I'm with it, bro. So I think that maybe, but let's see what the family has to say about this. Like, how do you guys feel about the term mob activity for these like the lootings and the riotings? Not just in Chicago, but like we said earlier, this happening in L.A. They're happening all over New York. They're happening. It's happened in Philly. It's happened in Philly. So do
yeah.
you think it's wrong or inaccurate to label it as mob activity? How do you feel about the term large gatherings? Like, tell us what you think about Mayor Jennings' response. Just let us know what you feel. Are we tripping? Like, I don't know. Let me
Hey
know.
yo,
'Cause
Joe, the damn Mummers Parade is a large gathering. Like,
that's right.
like,
Right. 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 That's a large guy. So yeah, large gathering. Nah, bro. You can't let. All right, Ty. If you could think of a euphemism for like a mass shooting, what would you call it?
um, what's it?
Let's think of a
Damn, what's
funny
they?
let's think of a funny euphemism for
But
a mass
yeah,
shooting. So we're gonna use it every
yeah,
time there's a shooting in Philly. We're gonna call it that.
yeah. Like, so it don't sound too bad. Like, it don't sound
Yeah,
too bad.
so
Like, oh well, it could have been a mass
yeah.
shooting, but it was just
Right, right.
right,
We gotta come up with one, family. We're gonna
right.
think about if you guys got one, drop one, so that every time we talk about a mass shooting, we're gonna use a term instead.
But
I gotta you. I'm thinking about this
yeah,
now.
I gotta think about it. I gotta think about it. But let us know what y'all think, family. Like, comment, subscribe. watch again. We need to watch Chime. Thanks so much for all the support, and until next time.
Until next time.